Hello and welcome to Mother Care. My name is Marian and it's always a privilege bringing the show to you. Today, lots of young moms and mother moms who have jobs, this show is truly for you because it's your lifestyle and breastfeeding. How do you fit it all in? A guide to the modern woman's breastfeeding. How can you fit it into your busy lifestyle from going to work, taking care of other kids, and taking care of your partner? How does it all fit in? That's the focus today on Mother Care. But as usual, we always start with a mini feature to talk about the topic just a bit and get you ready for what we're about to say. It's Mother Care. My name is Marian once again. It's great to have you on the show.
Breastfeeding is the act of feeding a baby from the mammary gland of the mother, which produces milk that nourishes the baby and essential for the growth of such baby.
Breast milk is the essential food that your baby needs in the first 2 years of life, especially first 6 months of life.
The World Health Organization has made it mandatory for mothers to breastfeed their babies for a period of 6 months exclusively without water or drugs.
No water! No water! No agbo! No agbo! No anything whatsoever! No medicine, no drug at all! Except if it's been prescribed by your doctor.
Such feeding is very essential for the physical, mental, and healthy growth of the baby. Before now, it has always been two: the time and the place. The third has been added, which is communication, putting in mind the importance of communication. Some mothers work in offices while others have their own businesses, but there is none without a challenge. Some mothers still have captivating experiences to share concerning their babies.
There was a day my husband just looked at me in the face and said, "Thank you very much. One, I don't spend. Secondly, you gave me a very healthy boy."
When she sucked more than 20, 30 times in a day. In the night, she do suck like almost 7 times.
What is your own experience? Have you started or thought of doing exclusive breastfeeding for your baby? Start now.
Welcome back to Mother Care. It's all about fitting breastfeeding into your lifestyle as a modern woman. Now, I know some women will think, what's the big deal? It's easy. But sometimes your schedule makes it almost impossible. We went to the streets to talk to the real women who are dealing with this issue every single day. How easy is it for the modern woman when it comes to breastfeeding for at least the first 6 months of her child's life? Now, here are the answers we got, and trust me, they were quite surprising.
We are taught that we should breastfeed the baby for like 6 months. That's baby friendly, without water, without drugs. That everything the baby needs is in the breast.
Breast milk has all the properties that the baby needs to really grow and then be healthy. So, and then it's cheap, so you don't need to wash feeding bottles and then transfer infections to the baby through all these dirty feeding bottles and the rest. So the baby will be really healthy within that first, start giving him breast milk.
So I encourage all the nursing mother to keep on giving that child breastfeeding so that they'll know. Even they always say in Yoruba that when your baby suck your breast, when you want to talk to him, maybe disobedient you. If you want to talk to him, if you say that at least you suck my breast. So. I want you to come back home and I want you to listen to me with that breast that the baby suck. From there, yes, exactly. It's the connection from the breast and from the mother. So there's no way when you suck your breast, when this one is sucking, you always looking at my eyes. You look like this. When even my firstborn, I didn't even know, but suddenly I just asked one old man. The man told me, he said, when the baby is looking at your face like this, that baby is going to love you much.
It's amazing the challenges for the mom when it comes to breastfeeding. Everybody says, 6 months. But for the mom who is working, you've heard it from them, it's not as easy as it sounds. So I've got Dr. Gbenga Awoshika in the house again. Welcome to the show.
You're welcome.
And we want to talk about lifestyle, the modern woman's lifestyle, and the issue of breastfeeding, a guide for her, because a lot of modern women work. It's not like our parents' days where mom stayed at home and dad worked. Dad and mom work now, and the common practice is 3 months after birth, maternity leave. So what happens when you go back to work? And all you doctors tell us 6 months at least. What do we do? First of all, before we even go to what do we do, this 6 months minimum, doc, is it like minimum, or can we manage 4 months?
Well, in 1991, the World Health Organization and UNICEF had a congress, and the baby-friendly hospital initiative was adopted, where all hospitals promote breastfeeding for 6 months, up to 6 months, without any substitute in between. That is exclusive breastfeeding. And that is what almost all hospitals nowadays preach. And there are advantages in this exclusive breastfeeding. Breast milk, human breast milk is superior to the formula feeds in many ways, because this actually contains a lot of things. For example, in the first few days after birth, the first few days, what comes out is called the colostrum. It is a very rich in anti-infective properties, which the baby might need to boost the anti-infective war the baby will be fighting at that time, to also supplement the baby's immune system, which is at that time undeveloped. The breast milk is cheap. It doesn't have to be refrigerated. It doesn't have to be prepared. It's a safe, cheap way of getting our babies nourished. The breast milk contains all the baby needs, all the water the baby needs. 70% of the baby's body is made up of water. 70% of breast milk is water. It contains the carbohydrates enough that the baby needs, enough proteins that the baby needs, enough fats, minerals and vitamins that the baby needs. So I will advise all mothers to make sure that babies are breastfed for as much as possible. In a study conducted in England, about 67% of mothers breastfed initially, and after 4 months only 40% were breastfeeding. That's a sharp drop compared to what we find in a study conducted in rural Nigerian women. In rural Nigerian women, 92% of them were still breastfeeding up till 1 year.
Wow.
But remember, I said rural Nigerian women. The problem we have in the urban Nigerian women is they're already westernized. So they have Western problems. So they behave like the ones in England. So they have to go to work, and it's quite challenging.
Yes,
Yes.
On behalf of the urban Nigerian, look, after 3 months, we have to go back to work. And not every workplace has a creche to put your child in, or even if you say a creche around the area, if you work on the island and places like that, the creches around the area is your whole salary at the end of the month. So what are the alternatives, like expressing and all that? What are alternatives?
Yes, I think a lot of women should be encouraged to express breast milk. At least breast milk will still last for 12 to 24 hours if it's well refrigerated at the correct temperature.
Okay.
And you can just be slightly warmed and given to the baby. They should express in the morning. And babies, maybe their mother-in-laws or whoever is taking care of the baby, should be able to feed the baby with the breast milk. And also, I think there should be a law by the government that workplaces should have in-house creches.
That would be so fantastic.
That would be fantastic. That would go a long way. I think it should be built into laws that all those big workplaces, hospitals, banks, and multinational companies should have standard creches where women will just drop their babies and can always breastfeed at intervals while they're working. Or in the alternative, they should maybe make women go on maternity of 6 months.
Oh, I think I agree with
I'm aware that the labor movement is trying to push at least 4 or 5 months, and I think they're really pushing hard to increase the maternity period for women in this country.
Okay, so now we know that it has a lot of advantages. I wanted to ask also that some women, when they're breastfed, I don't know, okay, maybe it's the nutrition or the challenges of work, after a while they themselves begin to lose so much weight, and that's not the weight we wanted to lose. No, like truly lose weight. They get tired, they can't cope, and sometimes you hear people say, maybe you should just let this go, the breastfeeding, and introduce the child to food. How can such women cope?
Yeah, for women that are breastfeeding, you have to eat well. You're actually nourishing the baby from your body. So if you don't eat well, the baby will still take what it has to take, and you will be the loser. So I encourage them to eat well, take their normal balanced diet, and I think women that are breastfeeding, I think they should eat about 4 to 5 times a day, not the usual three times
because
a day
you're
that we're
eating more
used
than one.
to. Yes, because you're breastfeeding and you're actually giving someone else part of the calories you have eaten through the breast milk.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right, now final question for Dr. Cruz. Now, I don't know if this is a myth or if it's true or not, but people say that when you actually breastfeed, it helps your tummy shrink. Is it true?
Well, I don't want to use the word tummy. I would like to. It's true that yes, it makes the uterus shrink, the womb, what you refer to as the womb colloquially. It makes it shrink because once you breastfeed, the same hormone that is necessary for milk letdown reflex, which is oxytocin, is released from posterior pituitary. Is the one that is also responsible for causing uterine contraction.
Oh.
Yes, so women that breastfeed very well, they have enough uterine contraction to make the uterus shrink very well. Just to add, it's been found that women and children, after many years of research, children that were breastfed over a long period of time have less propensity to develop cardiac diseases, heart diseases, and allergic diseases like asthma and eczema later in life, compared to children that were started on breast milk early in life. So children that are breastfed are not likely to have asthma later in life.
Okay. All right, Doc has convinced us. He has he schooled us today, so no excuses. Thank you again so much for being a part of the show today.
The pleasure is mine.
All right, we'll take a short break. When we come back, it's still mother care, and of course, we still have our doctor on demand. Your questions are going to be answered. Stay with us.
Hello there, welcome to another interesting episode of Doctor on Demand. We'll go straight to the question today, but then my name is Dr. Martina Agbere. Of course, you're a regular host on this program. Our first question is from Oshoke from Rivers. Oshoke says, my wife took in December 2010 and she's yet to put to bed. When she was tested pregnant, she was also diagnosed of fibroid. Although the fibroid has been successfully treated, but our doctor keeps telling us that the baby is okay. And at God's appointed time, the baby will be delivered. These faiths are also shared. My questions are, what has been the longest pregnancy you've heard of? Is my wife and baby okay? Oshoka, first I need to thank you for this question that you have sent in. But answering it from your point of asking what is the longest pregnancy I've heard won't actually solve this. Let's first of all take the concerns in this question. First, your wife has been pregnant since 2010. That means for like 3 years. And you've also given us very vital information that she was diagnosed of fibroid. So now you have two things here, your wife being pregnant since 2010 and also have been diagnosed of fibroid. How did they confirm that she has fibroid? Did you do an ultrasound scan? Did you go to a proper health institution to confirm the pregnancy? How did you confirm that the wife is pregnant? Then also you have also another concern is, how did you know the fibroid has been, you said the fibroid has been treated. How did you treat the fibroid? Was there a surgical operation? Did you do a scan to confirm that the fibroid is no more there after surgery? Or how? What did you use? What method? Then you're asking, is your wife and baby okay? Of course. That is actually a gap to answer at this moment. I need to make you understand something about pregnancy and the age of how long you should carry a pregnancy. Ideally, childbirth usually occurs about 38 weeks after conception. So in a woman who actually has a menstrual cycle that lasts for like the cycle lasts for like 4 weeks, is approximately 40 weeks. Okay? But for doctors to be able to calculate the duration of pregnancy, the age of that pregnancy, there are different methods. You can decide to calculate from the first day of the last menstrual cycle. If you take the first day of the last menstrual cycle, that will actually give you the gestational age. Okay? Then if you decide to use the date of conception, which is also about 2 weeks before the expected date of the menstrual period, that is, date of conception is like when the egg was actually fertilized, is like 2 weeks before the expected period. So the period is supposed to become like on the 28th, and you didn't find it, it didn't come on that 28th, it meant that around that 14th was when the fertilization actually took place. Then the last one is the date of implantation. This is usually 1 week after conception. But because you have 3 different ways of estimating the age of that baby, doctors actually have settled for the one that is most appropriate, because it's difficult to know when implantation has taken place or when the fertilization actually took place. It's all about estimates. So the best way in calculating this is using the first day of the last menstrual period, which is actually the gestational age. I will not advise you to just sit and ask if your wife and baby is okay. It is likely that your wife is not pregnant. This you can confirm from the hospital where you do the investigations, where the scan can be carried out. Then whatever is there can be treated adequately. But from medical history, from medical report and medical records, it is not right to say that your wife is pregnant. It is already more than the expected date of delivery, because nature, of course, if somebody is pregnant at 40 weeks, medically, if it's properly calculated, You give plus or minus 2 weeks. After that, that pregnancy must be terminated. You must ensure that the woman is taken into the hospital, labor commences, and you bring out the baby, because the baby will not be able to stay longer than they expected. So, Mr. Sheke, thank you for your text, your message. It's been noted, and I'm sure you actually have benefited, and you will take the advice. So at least to be able to save your wife and confirm the real situation of things that are going on. On this note, we call it a day for now, and same time next week, try and keep a date with us.
I have particularly enjoyed this edition of the show, and I do hope you have too, because it's a challenge. I love some of the docs' suggestions. Now, the biggest one I love is the fact that we should go on 6 months leave. Okay, I can do without the crash around my office. Give me the 6 months maternity leave and I'll be happy. But the crash in big organizations, it's really something to think about. And lengthening the maternity leave, it's not a bad idea too. But for the mom out there, I know it's not easy, but then I always feel the moms have been given special superpowers to juggle all of this and make the very best of it. So try, and hopefully you can get to at least 6 months for your baby. My name is Marian. It's been a pleasure bringing the show to you. Remember, we always say, being a mom, it's the best job ever.